Well, we're live on the red carpet.
We are now live on the red carpet?
Yes, indeed. Here we are, live.
So you're tweeting something and I have to retweet something from you?
Yeah, I got to get the link and tweet it out.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Red Carpet Show. For those who may not be watching or paying attention to Canada-Sweden, it is a okay gold medal final with Sweden leading 1-0, 61 minutes in. They've got a corner here. And what happened? A foul in the box. I can give you some play-by-play during the Red Carpet Show because, really, what's the IOC going to do? Hey, Mike?
Yeah, what are they going to do? Maybe deplatform us, but because I'm also watching
Hebsy's
live.
broadcasting live. Hebsy and Mike are broadcasting live. You can't do that.
Well,
so our attention is somewhat divided. We've got a podcast to do, but we can start whenever the fuck we want. Right?
Yeah.
If I was doing a radio show, you're on the air, you're on at 9:20. Oh my God, no one's going to be listening to me or watching me. They're all going to be watching the Canada-Sweden, right? You're live on the radio. Your sponsors, you got sponsors lined up. You got weather and traffic or whatever the hell your format is. But here, I don't have to start at 9:20. Do I, Mike?
No, and not only that, I'll say if you're on the radio, they would never, ever in a million years, unless you were possibly the CBC, which is the rights holder, they would never, ever let you, for example, air the call of the 4x100 meter relay live and then react to it live. Like, I mean, unless you throw a tantrum or something, I'm totally going to just let you know, hey, here's 40 seconds of live action 4x100 meter relay.
While you're there, can you give me what's going on in the soccer?
All right, so it's 1-0.
Put up the audio. No.
Oh, you want the audio? Okay, sure. And then I'm going to tweet at you while this is up.
Speedy attacking player, Rose.
Thank God it's the red carpet.
First touch for the substitute. Up against Glass.
Yeah.
Don't forget it was Rose's speed that forced that penalty against the Americans in the semi-final.
Is it Nigel Reed?
I think so.
Sinclair goes down. Referee waves it away.
Surely that's a penalty.
Will VAR come back and have
another look? There's a penalty.
No, they didn't call it.
Disbelief.
Sinclair wanted the penalty call. Okay, so basically, just so you know, I have on and off. I can't actually fade that down, so you can have it all or you can have none of it. But okay,
no,
there you go.
None of it. Yeah, Christine Sinclair might have gotten knocked down in the box here. So very exciting. Canada might tie it. But anyway, so this is kind of, I don't want the show to go this way, but this is kind of the way it's going because either that or we wait until the game is over and then we do the podcast. And we don't want to do that.
No, I think we can we can find a balance here. This will be fun.
But there's other stuff, okay? This Buck Martinez story is huge. Why would everybody be in Toronto? Every single broadcaster be in Toronto and Buck's at his home in Florida. I mean, Pat was already here with Dan last weekend. He came up to Toronto because we saw them in the booth.
Well, we
both
know.
It's wonderful to be back in a booth.
It's clear what's going on here, right?
What is that?
He's not vaccinated.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to get vaccinated either. He won't.
Clearly, because he had lots of opportunity.
Yeah,
yeah, he could have done it.
So why are they bothering? Why don't they just say, "Look, Buck, it's pretty stupid to be doing the game from Florida when everybody here can see what's going on. We've got a radio guy. We can just punch in his audio if we wanted to. But why would you say, and even show that Buck is still in Florida? Like, what are you trying to cover up here? Why don't you come out and say it? Just come out and say Buck Martinez is not vaccinated, isn't planning on getting vaccinated, yet he's still our play-by-play guy because he can see the game just as well from Florida.
Well, I can't wait to get into that with you here. I'm just sending the tweet here, so I'm not distracted by the match. I'm distracted by my tweet.
No problem. That's all right. It's the red carpet show. People understand. Okay.
What time is it? Oh, it is 9:21.
So here still.
So you have
penalty
to send.
And Canada now will attempt to tie this match.
Oh, so you're ahead of me because I'm watching the live stream and it still says possible penalties. So you'll know before me.
It's going to be. Looks like it was a foul. And so Christine Sinclair, in perhaps her final international appearance for Canada, with an opportunity to tie this game with a penalty. Man, you talk about pressure. Olympic gold medal game.
Oh, yeah. This is exciting.
66 minutes in.
Wow.
Canada's been completely outplayed by Sweden, but they have a chance to tie it. Wait a minute. It's not going to be Christine Sinclair.
Who is it? Because I'm a little behind you, remember? I'm at the 66-15.
Oh, my God. Hang on a second, folks.
Through the second half of the gold medal game. 23-year-old Jessie Fleming.
Jessie Fleming.
Against Hedvig Lindahl. Fleming from London, Ontario, to tie it up for Canada.
Yeah!
Yeah!
It's Fleming again.
We're tied.
See, that's
Oh my
exciting.
God, she looks like she's going to faint.
Lindahl can do nothing about it. It's 1-1 in your
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so Mike.
Yeah. You want to start the show?
What show?
Well, no, it's a start. I think you're thinking like TV guy, like we can't have.
I'm thinking like, why the fuck do I have to do a show when I can't? Why can't I watch the gold medal?
You blend them
game
together. Like you watch, we talk. While there's something to focus on, we go back to the match. I think that's the compelling audio, is that you have this is really happening. Like you blend it. You do your show and react to what's happening live at in Tokyo. Like
Sorry,
you'll
Mike,
find
I'm not paying attention to what you're saying to me at all here, because Canada's on the run again, for crying out loud. Oh my God. We're going to win the gold medal. And people are going to say, Hebsy, where were you when the gold medal was on? I'm going to go, I was doing a podcast. I was talking about the Jays and George Springer and Buck Martinez not being vaccinated and, Masai Ujiri and other stuff like
here's
that.
What's bugging me now.
Andre DeGrasse, Damian Warner. That's what we were talking about. And then there was this soccer game going on, and here we go again.
But here's what's bugging me. You're 10 seconds ahead of me. So you screaming goal.
Because
then put up your volume.
You are understanding as a listener what it would be like.
No.
Yes, you are.
Because
you don't know what's going on. I'm telling you what's going on. Just like anyone who isn't watching the game and listening to us. They don't know what's going on.
But I'm saying either turn up your volume because I'm watching it, but I'm 10 seconds behind you. So when you go goal, she hasn't taken the shot yet for me.
Right. Don't watch it then.
Well, or just put up your.
Won't that be more compelling?
I
Hebsy, tell us what's going on in the game. Okay, we got a corner, and I'm not starting the podcast while this is going on.
See, I would be recording this for the podcast.
What do you mean you'd be recording
like
this for the podcast?
this stuff here would be awesome on the podcast.
Okay, you're a producer, and that's great. And you also have your own show, and that's great. And I don't know. Ooh, we almost scored the winner. Sorry, what were you saying? Okay.
Okay. Well, listen.
This is a real test of a broadcaster.
Far more people.
This is like the night I was on Sportsline, and over here Ben Johnson was about to run in the 100-meter final in Seoul, and here I am talking to you. Hi there, the Jays tonight, but I know that there's nobody watching, that everyone was watching Ben Johnson.
Hey, Chris Hobson, who's watching us on YouTube, it's on
what's going on?
CBC. So he's asking, like, why isn't the match on SportsCenter TSN? Because they put it on CBC. So it's on the
so that everybody can watch it.
Everyone can watch it.
Not just those with cable.
Even the skinny cable people.
Right. And so I'm interested. So
CBC
anyone else
Gem.
who's watching live here or listening live and keeping an eye on the game or not, what would you expect from someone that's supposed to host a show around a certain time? It could be flexible. Has a podcast which you can listen to anytime. That's not live. You're going to listen to that hours after it's recorded, maybe days. What would compel you to join us now if you had a choice?
They're probably
how many people are watching live. Do we know?
I don't know. Let me check. Oh, just looks like a dozen or so right now.
Okay. So for those dozen people, we're going to start the podcast. Something happens, there you go. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it. So, yeah, you've got the TV on, so you can tell us if there's something eventful.
Bobby, I have to look over at my TV. All right, so let me retweet your tweet, and then we're going to start the podcast.
Okay.
Right. And then when someone says, so where were you when Canada won the goal? I was doing a podcast right in the middle of the podcast.
I don't think I
told all my listeners.
We'll talk about this, but I don't think this winning gold in the women's soccer, I don't think is nearly the equivalent of, the golden goal, etc. Like, I don't think it will be a I don't think it will be a where were you moment.
Did you just hear yourself?
I think the
200
win by
ice
DeGrasse is a bigger
more
deal.
Important than women's soccer
in
Canada?
Yes.
Hold that thought. Sweden coming through midfield here. Big chance. Could be a corner. No, come on, Steph. All right, let me retweet.
So 71-minute mark. What? This is 90, then some extra time, and then heck, this could go in a long time. That's the only reason we should probably start and then just react on the podcast. But
okay, hang on. You know what? Let's just do and see what happens live. No script except for the things that I want to talk about. Some of the thoughts that I put down.
Okay.
Hang on. Let's go. This is a very odd day. Very, very odd. But it's good.
So
had I not had the podcast schedule, I could have said, look, we're not going to do the podcast till later and go live later. Could do that. 72 minutes in. This is going to go to penalties. You know what's going to happen is they're going to have to run in split screen the penalty kicks in the gold medal game and the 4x100s.
Yeah, that's coming up in 20 minutes. It's true.
Perfect timing. That'll be at the 90. That'll be at the 93-minute mark. You'll be into penalty time. In
fact, they're showing this entire match on CBC. So I live streamed on CBC Gem the track and field because I wanted to see. We had Mo in the 5,000. I wanted to see Stafford in the 1,500 women's. Like there were all these events that they weren't showing on CBC, so I live streamed it. But hey, your call, Hebsy man. We can wait a bit, but this could go a while. That's the only thing.
Well, listen, we've got a podcast to do. We could leave it up to the dozen or so people that are watching, that are listening to us.
No, it's up now to looks like 18. I see.
Okay.
It's climbing.
Well, this is the red carpet. Let's ask. Okay, folks, let Mike know. Go with the podcast now? That's what you tuned in for? Or did you tune in for me and Mike to be watching and listening to the game?
KM says, fire it up, boys. Dr. Hockey says, enjoying your reactions. Sinclair.
That's not a yes or no start to the podcast answer.
Well, yeah, because they're on a little bit of a delay, right? So it takes them about 10 seconds to hear those words come out of our mouth. But Chris Hobson says, podcast.
Okay.
So Chris made the call. Hold on, there's more here. Gene Belitis says, wait till the game is done. And Gordon Enright says, may as well start the podcast. And then Paul Hawkyard says, blast off. And then James Edgar says, go podcast.
Let's go with the podcast.
All right, Gene
Majority
lost.
rules. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Give me the countdown, baby.
You got it, buddy. All right, Hebsy man, I'm recording in 5, 4, 3.
The following podcast is brought to you by Crosswinds Golf and Country Club in Burlington. I've been playing Crosswinds for over a decade now, and I can't think of any other public course that treats its patrons with as much respect and consideration as Crosswinds. From the time you drive through the gates until your round is complete, you'll enjoy the Crosswinds experience like no other. A beautifully manicured championship golf course, million-dollar views of Rattlesnake Point and Mount Nemo, friendly, helpful staff with a commitment to excellence that puts Crosswinds in a class by itself. Their banquet facilities are outstanding, the food is great, and when it comes to value, Crosswinds cannot be beat. Book your tee time online now at crosswindsgolf.com and make sure you tell them that Hebsy sent you. Now, Mike, let's start the podcast. Live from Toronto, it's Hebsy on Sports, episode 244. Hi there, sports fans. Mark Hebsher here in the Little Italy studios, and over there is Toronto Mike at the mothership in New Toronto, gateway to Mimico. Today on the show, we are watching the gold medal showdown between Canada and Sweden in women's Olympic soccer. I'm not going to lie to you. It's happening now. Nothing I can do about it. But my attention will not be divided because there's so much great sports to talk about. The Blue Jays closing in on a playoff spot. And guess who's in town for 4 games? The Sox. That's right. You know, when we go to Fenway Park, they make it very, very difficult. Well, let me tell you now, with this new revamped lineup, when the Red Sox come to Toronto, they're going to find that the Rogers Center is not like the Rogers Center of old. Okay? This is the house of fireworks now, baby. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. Hey, has anybody figured out why Buck Martinez is still calling Blue Jays games from Florida when everybody else is in Toronto? We'll tell you why. We know why. We know why the Jays broadcasts have been suffering all season long with Buck. We know why. And we know why the Sportsnet TV booth at Rogers Center has been sitting empty like a haunted house. I mean, Dan and Pat were there on the weekend, but this week, no. Speaking of sports media news, with Michael Landsberg gone, who will TSN 1050 hire to do morning radio show? Several names are in the running. Some you've heard of, some you've not.
Wow.
Lionel Messi gone from Barcelona? Looks like it, but maybe not. But if he's gone, TSN just blew a bundle on La Liga rights, eh? A racist tweet by the Juventus women's team causes more than a stir as more and more incidents of racism and anti-Semitism and sexism are popping up in sports. Talk about that. Masai Ujiri signs a deal to stay with the Raptors. Feds and Milos withdraw from Toronto. Golf news, and it looks like the Sportsnet life coach is on life support and needs a complete transplant. It's all ahead, but first here's Toronto Mike, and I'm going to bet that Toronto Mike is freshly groomed below the waist thanks to the Lawnmower 4.0. Am I right, Mike?
Yeah, if this was OnlyFans instead of YouTube, I might show you what's going on down there. But feeling good. My balls are thanking me. The Lawnmower 4.0 is my my BFF.
All right. In the meantime, the 4.0 is part of Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0. In this package, you get everything you need for your balls and other parts of the body.
Yeah, no, again, not just your. There's products for your nose, for your ears.
Well, hang on. Let me tell the folks this. Okay, don't step on me here.
All right.
Weed Whacker.
Wow.
Is that's for your ear and your nose hair. That's you get the Weed Whacker hair trimmer. You get the Crop Preserver ball deodorant.
Wow.
You get the Crop Reviver toner. You get the Performance Boxer briefs. I know you like those, Mike.
Actually, they are very, very comfortable, and you can buy them.
Really are. They're great for biking. And you get a travel bag as well to hold, your balls, your entire solar system, as it were. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Both of them.
Listen, check it out. Use the promo code Hebsy for 20% off and free shipping if you go to manscaped.com.
Wait, 20% off and free shipping?
Correct.
That's a great deal at manscaped.com. Help Hebsy out.
And insert the promo code Hebsy, and we'll thank you for that because it would be a lovely thing for you to do that.
We'll thank you as your balls. Thank you.
Yeah. Andre DeGrasse, Damian Warner.
Yes.
Who's better?
What's a weird comparison? I mean, one's an
No,
overall,
it's not. It's a perfect comparison.
What do you mean who's better? I love them both. They're fantastic.
No, I'm not asking who you love. I'm
Olympians.
saying who's better? Who's a better
Who's
athlete?
better at what? Better athlete?
Yeah.
Damian Warner.
Absolutely. Right. Andre DeGrasse is faster.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt.
But that decathlon, I've never really paid that much attention to the decathlon. And I guess maybe because of the highlights that are being shown, just the opportunity to see it, is watching him in every single event and figuring out how many points he can get versus how many points the winner's going to get, and is fascinating to me.
Yes.
You've got to be a mathematician, right?
Absolutely.
Like if he runs 3:31 or less, he gets over 9,000 points, which is like crazy.
Olympic record.
But the thing is, 9,000 points as a reference point in sports is one of the most obscure, if not the most obscure.
Right.
What is that? Is that 500 home runs? Is that 200 goals in a season?
Man, how many men have done it? 3 or 4? Like it's that rare. So it's it's like 700 home runs in a career.
It's remarkable. And watching him, and also too, if I was to say, okay, which one of these two gold medalists from Canada is more engaging?
Oh,
it's a tie.
It's a tie.
It's a dead heat.
Yeah.
Both guys are so down to earth, engaging, so Canadian that we're so proud of them.
Yeah.
Especially compared to, I don't know, previous athletes who maybe didn't, they didn't give you the warm and fuzzy, I'd like to meet them and have a barbecue in their backyard with them kind of a guy. You know what I'm saying?
Both athletes you're mentioning there are extremely likable. Like Kyle Lowry likable. Like just as
no, more than Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry could be a smart ass and snarky.
Oh, it's all right.
No, these guys I don't think are capable. And here's the other thing. I've been reading a lot of and seeing a lot of the international media, and they feel the same way. Like these guys are wonderful and they're happy for them.
Yeah.
Especially any anti-Americans. Any other country that's like, look, as long as you beat the Americans, we love you. Right? We love you for that. We don't want to see more Americans on the podium. We don't want to see Americans winning gold. We don't want to see the American women's soccer team winning a medal. I mean, they won bronze. They didn't win one in the last one, so good for them. But still, there's sort of that anti-American, not anti-American so much as just beat the Americans. We'll be happy if you beat the Americans. We'll love you even more. We love Canada anyway. Love you even more if you beat the Americans.
But I will say that DeGrasse winning gold in that 200, that is my Olympic highlight.
That's the best race. I'm sorry to say the 100 is the 100. I get it. But that 200 gives you a little bit of time to breathe and watch it happen.
Right. You got the turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got that turn and then
and it's less than 20 seconds. So to me, that's probably the ideal. And again, I know that over years and centuries or whatever, it's been the 100-meter, the marquee one, the world's fastest man.
Right.
But I believe the world's fastest man is really the 200.
Well, that's what Michael Johnson said, right? As I recall.
It's many years ago, but he has a point.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that the 100 is still the prestige event.
Of course.
So, but because DeGrasse got bronze in the 100 and gold in the 200, you could persuade me this year.
But don't you think that Usain Bolt changed people's thinking? You could be the fastest man at 100 and you could still be the fastest at 200. Right. You could be the third fastest in the world at 100 and the fastest at 200.
Right.
Like DeGrasse, and absolutely say, I'm the world's fastest man. And I'll prove it to you. Let's go. You and me, we're going to race 100 and we're going to race 200.
Right.
And I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you in one of them and close enough in the other. None of these other 100-meter sprinters ran in the 200, did they?
I don't think so.
No, he's the one. And that's why his first heat of the 200 was a tough one. You could see him really laboring. Remarkable.
Yeah, I love them both. I love Damian Warner, but Andre DeGrasse, that's what a likable ambassador for this country. And I'm so glad every time he makes a final in an international event, he medals. So it literally
and that's another thing. Is people are going to say, okay, who's the greatest Canadian Olympian? I mean, DeGrasse is 5 for 5. If he gets a medal in the 4x100, 6 for 6, that's tough to beat.
Right, because Penny has so many more
opportunities. Every event you entered,
right.
You're on the podium?
Right.
Come on.
Right. It's tough. Like, as we know, there's a lot more swimming opportunities for medals than track and field for somebody like Andre DeGrasse. So the fact that, he just medals. But literally, like, as we talk, we'll know in like about 10 minutes how Andre DeGrasse does in the 4x100 meter relay. That's happening in 10 minutes as I speak to you now.
You want an update from Otis? Because I got a big one for you.
Sure, yeah.
Yesterday, I'm making my coffee and I think it's a dog for a second, but I go, no, wait a second. That looks like Otis on a leash, right? Because my neighbors, Ben and Ashley, take him for walks. They're trying to turn him into an indoor cat. They don't want him loose outside. So last week they took him to a cottage. So here's what I find out. Otis escaped from the carrier in the car on the way there twice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then at the cottage, he figured out how to open the screen door. They had the screen door open, the cat's inside. Right. And so I guess he figured out that you just leap up with one paw and tap the it's a knob there, and the door opens, and then push your head against it, and off you go.
Smart cat.
So they're telling me that they don't hear the cat, and then they hear the door open, and Otis is outside in the wilderness, I guess, the cottage. He's out on the deck, and they go to get him, and I guess he heard their tone of voice was, "Oh, I'm in trouble," and he takes off into the woods. Now he's microchipped, and he's got one of those, what do you call it? Trackers, GPS trackers. And so they get the tracker out, and he's in the forest somewhere, and they're looking for him. They look for an hour or so, and they notice the tracker that Otis has gone across the highway and is somewhere on the other side of the highway after an hour of looking for him.
Oh my
sure
God.
enough, they find him, knock on the lady's door. Sorry for trespassing, yeah, he's here. And Otis was inside.
So lucky, though. Just
so lucky. So they take him back to the cottage, and now they close. Not only do they lock the screen door, but they also close the glass door, right? Or so they think. They go for a nap or whatever. They don't hear the cat. They get up. The cat's gone. The door is open, and Otis has pushed his way through the screen, his head through the screen, and broken the screen.
Yeah.
And is gone again.
At some point, they have to accept Otis is not going to be an indoor cat.
No, they don't want to accept that. They want to keep him as an outdoor cat, an indoor cat, and put him on a leash. So this is the challenge. And plus, being in a car for 2.5 hours, a cat that wants to be outside, man, no chance. So anyway, Otis is fine. He's healthy, but he still wants to go outside, and he wants to kill birds.
Right.
And he got into a fight with a skunk, but luckily got out of the situation. Thank God for that. That's the Otis update.
Shout out to Otis.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, trying to imagine if from the beginning of the season, the Jays had everybody healthy like they are now, how good they'd be. How many games would they be leading the American League East by? How many of us would be making arrangements for playoff tickets? Because we're in. Because they're awesome.
Right. Springer
leading off. Vladdy hitting second. Simeon. Bo. Teoscar, if he's going to play. Corey Dickerson. He's not bad. Right? Santiago Espinal. Hey, he's playing pretty good as well. And sometimes Grichuk is in there. We got a pretty good lineup. Our catching's not too bad at all. Reese is hitting the ball. Kirk hits the ball pretty well.
It wasn't that long ago, though. You were sour on Springer's,
sure I was.
George Springer.
You're darn right I was. I wasn't the only one. Damn sour because the guy wasn't hitting.
Right.
And he hadn't been playing. 70 games, the dude. No, wait a sec. He came back in late April, hit 2 home runs in like 4 games, was hitting the snot out, and then went back down to injured. He teased us with that.
Right.
Anyway, the guy missed like 70 games. And let's face it, we're hanging around 500. And we were imagining what will it be like with a healthy George Springer in the lineup. Well, finally, after waiting what seems like 4 months, in fact, it was 4 months, he's been awesome. Bo, awesome. Vladdy, still awesome. The whole lineup, fantastic. And having taken 3 out of 4 from Cleveland, including a 3-0 goosing of the Guardians last night, the Jays are 2.5 back of Oakland for the final wildcard spot, and they get the Red Sox for 4 this weekend, the slumping Red Sox. Now, these games could be tight ones, or they could be blowouts. You never know with these two teams. Mike, if I told you that the Jays have beaten Boston by these scores this year, 18-4, 8-0, 13-1, 7-2. But when it comes to one-run games, the Jays lose most of them. Toronto just 6-12 in one-run games this year against all teams. Red Sox are 20-12. But now we've got a bullpen. It's like in Happy Gilmore was, ooh, Happy learned how to putt. It's like, ooh, the Jays have a bullpen now. And it doesn't mean that Jordan Romano is your closer. He's not the closer anymore. The days of Romano and Julian Merriweather anchoring your bullpen are long gone, my friend.
Right.
The days of Jacob Watkins' book as one of your starting pitchers and Nate Pearson, you're crossing your fingers hoping this kid can throw strikes, are long gone.
Wow.
This team is solid now.
Exciting.
Starting pitching, solid. Revamped bullpen, solid. So solid that the Jays now have a 54.5% chance of making the postseason.
Wow.
According to Baseball Reference.
Wow.
And Mike, the New York Yankees, who are ahead of the Jays in the standings by 1 game, what do you think their chances are of making the postseason? Jays are 54.5.
I'm going to say less. I'm going to say 49.
24%, Mike.
Wow. Wow.
They take into consideration your schedule.
Sure. Momentum.
What your roster looks like. Yankees added some pretty good players. Don't get me wrong. But the Jays have a better chance. And Oakland, only 54.9% now. And looking over their shoulders. Checking that side view mirror. Uh-oh. Here come the Blue Jays. Down the stretch they come.
Wow.
So tonight, first of 4 against the Red Sox, it's the rookie Alek Manoah on the hill against Boston fireballer Nathan Eovaldi. Should be the best game of the season.
And Andre.
What was that?
A little slip
Andre
here,
DeGrasse?
just because I was pulling up the track and field just so I could tell you what's going on with that. But
Well, what's going on? Because Canada and Sweden are in the 92nd minute.
yeah, they have 4 minutes of extra time that they're playing. But of course, the 4x100 meter relay is also happening as we speak. So you let me know. I mean, it's happening.
No, you let me know. If they're going to do it, just interrupt me.
Sure.
And we're going to go live.
Now, do you want to play the audio at the risk that maybe YouTube won't like us playing IOC feed? Like that could be, I don't know if you want this video, but you can always edit it out.
What's YouTube going to do?
Oh, they could just remove it. They'll just remove your video. But you could edit it.
Video?
Yeah, you could edit it out and
it's worth it.
Get it back. Okay. So please continue, and I will give you a heads up.
You're going to put the audio in? We're
going to do for the 4x100 meter men relay. We're going to listen live together. Yeah.
I already did it earlier when we were on the red carpet show. I just pumped up the audio on my television.
Yeah, and I did it
YouTube
too.
recognize that?
Maybe. Like they have the algorithm running. I don't know. So I'm just telling you. I can't promise you. I can't tell you what Google will do if you actually air. What happened there? Remember, you're 10 seconds ahead of me.
We almost scored.
Wow, that would be a
that would be the golden goal of all golden goals. Well, actually, no. It would
there can't be a golden
time.
goal in soccer, right? Because there's it's not sudden death.
That's right.
Right.
But the equivalent of would be in the final minute of play, the winning goal.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
By the time the ball was put back into play,
right,
there wouldn't be an opportunity.
Oh, I just watched the replay. Yes, that was close.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good chance. Where was I, Mike?
Blue
Baseball.
Jays.
Yeah, right.
Although I'm excited to hear about Buck Martinez, but you're getting there.
Hang on.
Because I'm
excited about Andre DeGrasse, too. We can only be excited about a few things.
Right.
2 7-inning games on Saturday at the Rogers Center. And you got to wear masks, remember, if you go. Although I see a lot of people not wearing masks.
They don't enforce it. I was at BMO. It's tough to enforce.
Not really happy about that. Anyway, Saturday, 2 7-inning games. Separate intermission or admission. Right? Like one game's at 2:10 or 1:10, the other game's at 7:10.
Right.
So you pay full price and you get 7 innings. That sucks. Robbie Ray against Nick Pivetta in the lid lifter. And then Jose Barrios. I like him.
Hey, Jeremy, can I just say, Jeremy V watching live on YouTube made a comment that I can't sit on here any longer. He says, this goal will be bigger than Crosby's goal. You're out to lunch, Jeremy. You're out to lunch. No chance. I'm just telling you, and I don't know what your thoughts are, Hebsy, but if a Canadian does score here,
you've got to settle down.
Me?
You got to get that hockey head out.
I'm just telling you.
I just think
you need to be
million Canadians. I just think you need to be a little more tolerant. Okay? I don't think you can just categorically say, "No fucking way, fuck you, buddy." There's no way.
There's no way.
Just settle down. Settle down.
Country. No chance.
Because you've lived through the Sidney Crosby golden goal for how many years? 10 years? 12 years? 11 years?
11 years. Oh, okay. Right. Hebsy, can I put a pin in that? Because we have a race starting here. Let me bring up the volume.
Go. Let's hear it.
Who will make the first strike then? It's an excellent run by the Japanese on the outside. Watch for a clean set of changeovers. And the Japanese have dropped it. They're absolutely heartbroken. Lamont Marcelli Jacobs round that top bend, but Britain going really well here. Richard Kilty, watch for Siu Bing Tan closing the gap, and the Italians aren't out of this. The Jamaicans have got a lot to do here, so too the Canadians. And look at this. Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake, Great Britain or Italy. And it's the Italians, I think, on the line. It's so close. Neither of them are certain, but I think the Italians have just done it. If they have, it's the dip on the line to deny Great Britain. For a moment, it looked as though Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake had repeated Britain's win in 2004. But how about that from the Italians? I thought they had a chance. Jacobs was brilliant.
Here, I'll mute it though because I can't fade it down. But it looked to me, watching in real time,
what
that
the heck was that?
It looks like we finished.
I thought
third.
I was going to get CBC Mark Lee calling for Canada. Who's that?
No. When you stream these, you get the IOC feed, so everybody gets the same.
Let's get
feed.
on with the podcast.
But
we didn't win gold?
No, we won bronze, I believe. A bronze medal for Canada, which is great.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Blue Jays this weekend. Oh my God, this story is like taking forever to tell. Yun Jin Ryu against Garrett Richards on Sunday. That's a 9-inning game, by the way, or more. So I'm looking at 3 wins out of 4 games this weekend for the Jays, which will set them up for a nice long road trip next week to Anaheim. That's Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani country. Seattle, where, I wonder if Canadians can go across the border into Seattle by that time to see the games.
Good question. I doubt it.
Thank you. And Washington, D.C. That's their road trip next couple of weeks. Now, has anyone else noticed how weird the Blue Jays telecasts have been sounding when Buck Martinez is calling the games from his home in Florida? Am I the only one? He seems to be like a second and a half behind the play. Like someone will make a great catch and I'll go,
right.
Oh! And then Buck will go, what a catch. He's behind. There's the feed that's going into his home in Florida is not the same as what I'm watching.
Right.
For some odd reason. It just sounds really, really bad. Either that or just Buck can't see what you can see in the ballpark, which of course makes sense and makes more sense that you would have someone in the actual ballpark, if you could, calling the Jays games, as opposed to depending on Buck from his home in Florida. Am I wrong there?
Let's not beat around the bush here, Hebsy. Why the hell is
Buck's not vaccinated? Buck doesn't want to get vaccinated. If he did, he would get vaccinated and be the Blue Jay broadcaster from the actual catbird seat at the Rogers Center watching the game.
So when Pat Tabler...
So to me, it's ludicrous that the Blue Jays have, and Rogers and Sportsnet have, Dan Shulman, Jamie Campbell, Joe Siddle, Hazel May, Arash Madani, Shai Davidi, Ben Wagner. It's like, okay, we'll give you Ben Wagner, but Buck can't do TV. Like, why not just take Ben Wagner's audio feed? At least he's there.
Right.
At least he can describe what's going on. Instead of a couple of times, Buck is like, well, we're not sure if that's a wow. What do you mean you're not sure? You're not even at the ballpark. Of course you're not sure. That sounded so stupid to hear the two of them, one in Ohio, although Pat's been here already.
Yeah, can I ask about that? Is the reason Pat went home because you can't have Pat at the game and Buck at home?
Of course not. Would that not be ridiculous?
Right. So they basically, Pat was in Toronto, and then they sent him home to call games from home, even though the games were in Toronto. So clearly that's because Buck can't enter the country without whatever. Yeah,
he's not vaccinated.
He's not vaccinated, so he can't enter.
So I had asked you on our last show, if I was to say to you, for example, if you knew that Vladdy Guerrero Jr. wasn't vaccinated, would you look at him differently?
Sure. No, of course.
Yeah. So with Buck Martinez, the question is this: number one, he lives in Florida.
Right.
Florida.
Right.
Let's not lose sight of that. People that live in Florida for the last year and a half, not vaccinated. I mean, wearing masks was a pain in the ass for them for a while.
Sure.
But think about it. So you live in Florida, you're not masking, you're not sick. People around you haven't gotten sick. People of your ilk aren't getting sick. And if they are, well, they got sick for other reasons. Vaccinating wasn't going to help them. And now you're representing this baseball team,
right,
as its play-by-play expert.
And you're an anti-vaxxer.
You're thousands of miles away, and you don't want to be close to the sport that you love to your chosen profession. That's fucked up.
It is fucked up. And what about Rogers? Like, Rogers can't be happy with the fact that their play-by-play guy, Buck Martinez, is an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
Wild.
Credibility
course, again,
takes a huge hit here, Mike. Huge hit. As if they haven't been battered enough. All of their own doing, Rogers and Sportsnet and the Blue Jays here. All of it. But what can the Blue Jays team, what can the team do about the broadcaster? Like, what are they going to say? Listen, man, we want to distance ourselves. They don't know him. They haven't seen him. Nobody, I mean, I when they were playing in Dunedin, I think he was there for some of the games.
Yeah.
But I remember a couple times where he was still doing it from home, even though the ballpark's 20 minutes from where he lives. I don't know.
But Hebsy, we should just put a caveat on this that we are speculating, right? Like, you don't have actual.
No, we're not speculating. It's
so
pretty, easy to draw a line. Yeah,
it looks clear.
No,
He
isn't vaccinated and doesn't plan on being vaccinated.
So the Blue Jays should suspend him and get another play-by-play guy until he can do his job from the dome. What do you think?
I think that listening to Buck do a game, knowing that he's not at the dome, but everybody else is it makes it so incredibly tone deaf, blind. Why would I want to listen to somebody that's not at the same game that I'm at, or that doesn't have a bird's eye view, when I can listen to the radio guy who's sitting right there, which is the exact opposite of what Sportsnet and the Jays went through for 3 months? Why do I have to listen to a guy that doesn't care about the radio audience? It's just so.
Also, I find it
wrong.
difficult to listen to people who are anti-vaxxers. Like, it's sort of changes the way you perceive them as a person, that they're selfish enough to not get this vaccination that you and I, leapt at the opportunity to get for not only for ourselves, but for our, fellow citizens here. This is just your obligation, I think.
That to me is, in the words of Buck Martinez, a major error. He's really committing an error, and he's taking down the rest of the broadcast, and Rogers really should do something about it. They should either say to Dan Shulman, Dan, I don't know, whatever our deal was or whatever, we need you to come back from holidays, or I know he's doing Olympic basketball, but it's like, we can't have this. And the other thing is, Dan is so much better, but he's 50 times better when he's in the ballpark calling the game versus Buck at home, completely hamstrung and not willing to change things. That, to me, is the most remarkable part. Like, Buck, we need you at the ballpark. You have to get vaccinated. No. Now, having said that, Buck is 70 years, 71 years old, maybe his age, and I don't know. I can't speak for him.
No, because if he had a medical reason why he couldn't get the vaccination, we'd know about it.
Whatever it is, but even so, it's like, look, Buck, until you can get here, we can't have you doing the games from Florida. And even they didn't even try to hide the fact. It's like, here's Buck in Newport Richey, Florida. Here's Pat in Cincinnati, Ohio. Here's Arash and
what an intriguing
Hazel
story.
in Toronto. Here's Jamie and Joe in Toronto. We're all in Toronto. It's just fucked up.
It's an intriguing story that they literally have to send Pat Tabler home when he's at the ballpark where the game's taking place because his cohort cannot enter the country because he's anti-vax. Wild. What a wild
and
little
the other
story
guy's
to keep
doing
an eye
Olympics.
on.
The best of them all is doing Olympics.
Right.
Really, the voice of the Blue Jays.
Well, yeah, he's the best.
Is doing the Olympics.
But
on one day he did 3 games. He did a baseball game and 2 basketball games.
Right. No, he's amazing. But I like it when when Dan Shulman does play-by-play and Buck is his analyst.
But you'll listen to Buck even though he's an anti-vaxxer?
Well, but that's the thing. Like, yeah, like I'm not going
to
stop watching.
From Florida.
I'm not going to stop watching. Like, where's the line? I'm not going to stop watching Blue Jay games because they're employing Buck Martinez, an anti-vaxxer. Like 10% of this country is going to be anti-vax. Like we have to,
But you said I can't listen to someone who's an anti-vaxxer.
Well, I meant like when you're having like coffee with them or having chats with them. I'm not talking about listening to them call the game.
Have you had Buck on your show?
No, actually, no. But if I do, I'm just going to ask him about why the fuck he's an anti-vaxxer. Although I was just Ben Rayner got 1 shot, and then Ben was telling me he's hesitant to get a second because he's waiting to find out what's going on with these shots. And I was a little bit peeved at that. Like, go get your second shot.
Wow.
Anyway. Anyway.
Other sports media news, all kinds of speculation surrounding Toronto Sports Radio and who will be behind the mic next month at TSN 1050 and the Fan 590.
What do you know? What do you know?
Joey Vendetta was in line for a huge promotion.
Wow.
Yeah, he screwed it up. He was going to get a full-time gig and a big one at the Fan. They loved him there. They loved his contacts, his Rolodex, as we used to say, right?
Right.
Joey knows a lot of people.
Sure.
Very well connected. And he tweeted something. That ill-fated tweet cost him. So they had plans to move Joey up full-time.
Wow.
Now, some are suggesting that former TSN 1050 employee Scott MacArthur might be getting an offer from TSN 1050. He's currently doing the morning show at the Fan. That's interesting. Other names being bandied about, Aaron Korolnik. He's a producer at TSN 1050.
Yeah, I know him. Yes.
Yeah, and he's good. And a lot of these guys, like JD Bunkus, go from being the producer of the show, but not just the producer. They're also on the air. They'll get on the microphone and talk about things, right? And that's a good way to transition into being a host or a co-host. Your audience is familiar with you already. Right? They know where you stand, who your favorite teams are, stuff like that.
Sure.
And so the transition isn't that difficult. And let's face it, Aaron Korolnik is going to cost a lot less than more established veteran sports broadcaster. And then there's Greg Brady,
right,
who would make a great morning host, but he's got a gig with 640 that he really likes. So something would really have to go sideways. Something would really have to get fucked up at 640.
640 does have to
in the mix.
Does have to step up and actually make him the permanent host, because right now
but not to say that he hasn't been contacted. And I didn't get this from Greg, but I know that they would be foolish to not at least reach out.
He's the front runner, probably.
I would think if they could have him, that it would be the guy. He's got the experience. The market knows him. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, that annoying Sportsnet life coach
right,
is going to be 6 feet under pretty soon, as Rogers announced that Sportsnet Now, the direct-to-consumer streaming service, will be totally, completely, and fully revamped in the next little while due to major problems with the service and subscriptions being dropped like a hot potato.
Do you subscribe to that?
No. You know why? I tried it,
life coach?
and it completely screwed up on me.
Oh,
I was so pissed off.
Oh, wow.
My brother too. Oh, yeah. It was just because, you want to be able to stream wherever you are.
But it's Rogers. You'd think they'd figure that out. It's Rogers.
But wait a second. It's been going on. Look, I got rid of it months ago, Mike.
Wow.
But they still keep running these, and they do more and more commercials. Like, I don't know how many they recorded with this guy, but it's dozens and dozens of them.
Right.
But anyway, so due to major problems with the service, they're going to move to, now, Mike, you know more than I do, Microsoft Azure for their redesign. This is big stuff, I'm told. They fucked it up badly, and they don't want to fuck it up again. They need that streaming service. They need those subscriptions.
Right. And people are used to Netflix now, that were all other UIs. Even I noticed this with CBC Gem. It's like you just want it to work as well as Netflix. That's like the benchmark now.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. So they knew, but here's the thing. They knew this was a problem months ago, and they just couldn't fix it. And they keep running the spots for Sportsnet now. And and the consumers are like, I can tell people are like pissed with it. Until finally they said, shit, we gotta revamp this goddamn thing, and soon.
Who do you think, though? I know you went by this topic already, but then I saw a funny comment that somebody said Jesse and Jean should get the new 1050 morning show. And I'm curious, who do you think is the front runner to take over for Michael Landsberg on 1050?
Well, I had said before that it would be someone within TSN that's already on the air, television or radio combination. I mean, you can pick and choose. You've probably got a lot of people at TSN that I've seen on the air that are not working full time. You know what I mean? They're getting a gig here and there, but there are certain people that, unless they're doing behind the scenes production, are not on the air on a regular basis and would probably be good candidates for radio. When you're a commentator, you may as well do radio. So for all I know, there's 5 or 6 or 10 people within TSN, producers and or on-air people, that are being considered to be a morning co-host.
Get ready for Mako and Cause in the morning.
Yeah, I don't think so. Although Matt Cause, I think, has got 9 lives like a cat there because he was let go, brought back. Same with what's his name, the soccer announcer. Had a show there.
I'm blanking on. Hey, one quick, because Andrew Ward is on your YouTube channel and he's asking about what about Brian Hayes. But I'm just going to say my opinion is you don't break up the trio that works. Like I don't think they're going to break up. I don't think Hayes
would want to go to mornings.
No, and I don't think you'd want to break up something that's like a proven commodity that's effective and working.
No, unless they all went to mornings.
Right. Good luck with that.
Well, that's where the money is. That's what they say.
Right.
Okay. Word is that Lionel Messi will be leaving Barcelona after a stunning announcement yesterday. And at the time, I'm sure the folks at TSN lost their lunch because they just acquired the rights to La Liga telecasts. And of course, Messi was the centerpiece of that.
Right?
We're going to show all La Liga games, even though it's really, there's only really 3 teams or 4 teams in Spain that are any good. The rest are, But anyway, but it's Messi. And apparently he's not going to be back, although there are some who have more expertise than I that say, hang on a second, by September, he'll be back with Barcelona. He's not going to Man City. He's not going to Chelsea. He's not going to PSG. Man City just paid over 100 million euros for Jack Grealish, for crying out loud. And if they were to add Messi, it just wouldn't be fair to the rest of the squads in the Premier League. Well, come on. They're good. They're great already. Now you're adding Grealish and you're adding Messi. So, again, the initial, what is it called? Something across the bow. Shot across the bow.
Yes.
Was shocking. And if it happens, if he doesn't go back to Barcelona because of, salary cap stuff and all that jazz, that would be a shame.
Wow.
If it doesn't happen, he's probably got some pretty good leverage for a new contract now. People must be freaking out. What would the equivalent, I'm trying to think, what would the modern day equivalent be of that?
I'd only have
greatest of all time, playing for the same team, finally won his first international tournament, the Copa Americas.
Modern day Sidney Crosby, I guess.
Yeah.
It's probably right. Crosby. But quick, that soccer personality you were trying to think of on TSN, my guess is you're thinking of Gareth Wheeler. But
Gareth Wheeler.
Okay, because Daniel Finkler was thinking James Sharman, but it's Gareth Wheeler who seems to have
Gareth Wheeler. That's the one. So there's a lot. I just think that TSN has sort of, let people go and brought them back and, don't go away. We've got your number. Depends what comes along. And I don't know how serious they are about their radio, except for the Overdrive show. I don't know how serious TSN radio is.
No, just one show that's kind of making an impact. Every other show is up for grabs, as they say.
And remember, the CFL season started last night.
All right.
Winnipeg beat Hamilton.
Wow.
And so TSN is now committed to promoting the hell out of anything CFL. They just have to.
Right.
Okay. Meanwhile, the Juventus women's soccer team showed how incredibly tone deaf they are by tweeting out a picture of one of their players mocking Japanese people by pulling her eyes apart.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay? Like when you were 4 years old. When Twitter exploded, the club tried to apologize, but made it worse by saying, quote, if we offended anybody, we're sorry. No, you jerks, you fucking morons. No, not if we offended anybody. You offended everybody. So that's not an apology. And I'm especially disappointed here, Mike, because these are female players. These are young ladies. And females are running the Twitter account for Juventus women's soccer. And they should know better.
Well, regardless
this type
of
gender, mockery with
better.
racist overtones, Mike, come on. Should not be tolerated by men or women. But women especially should be more sensitive to it. So I'm appalled. And their apology, if we offended someone, come on. You can do better.
Right.
A lot better. And while I'm at it, Tottenham Hotspur's chairman, Daniel Levy, who is Jewish, was subjected to an anti-Semitic comment on an English radio show that was also broadcast on YouTube live. The radio show had a 7-second delay. The YouTube broadcast did not. In a discussion about Harry Kane's future at Tottenham, a caller to the radio station said of Levy, quote, "He's a Jew. He's not going to let him go for nothing, is he?" That remark went unchallenged by the radio hosts. And people were outraged because of it, and justifiably so. If you want to eliminate racism, anti-Semitism, sexism, any other type of hate, you'd better make sure that all transgressions are dealt with equally and severely punished. You got that? Or it just doesn't work.
You got to challenge
It should
that
not
bullshit.
be tolerated. I would take the radio hosts to task for this. They should be fired. The station should be fined. Ridiculous. Cannot believe that
Unacceptable.
People are still doing this.
Yeah, that's
Cannot
wild.
believe it.
Well, both
Really.
those examples are egregious anyways, but especially here in 2021. Egregious. What did I say? Egregious? Yeah, okay.
Egregious.
Yeah. You're the broadcaster.
Okay. In golf, I'll be playing crosswinds again on Sunday, and I can hardly wait, Mike. My game's in pretty good shape, I have to tell you.
Wow.
Nothing like playing a beautiful course like crosswinds in Burlington, right in amongst the Niagara Escarpment with Mount Nemo over there, Rattlesnake Point over there. Breathtaking views. $1 million views. And the conditions are always exceptional, and the people at Crosswinds are super friendly. And you and your friends are going to enjoy your Crosswinds experience immensely, as I do every time I go. Take it from me. Go to crosswindsgolf.com. See what they have to offer. You'll love it. Book your tee time online now. Tell them Hebsy sent you. You know, we really sucked at Olympic golf. We were just not good at all. Like the men didn't. Like Corey Connors was 13th. I think Mackenzie Hughes was in the 40s somewhere. And our ladies, Lena Sharp and Brooke Henderson, are not doing well at all. But I like this about Corey Connors. Finishes 13th in Tokyo, gets on a plane, comes back to North America, and is right now tied for 13th after the opening round of the World Golf Championship, the FedEx St. Jude Invitational. How about that?
That's work ethic.
Goes to represent his country, finishes 13th, which is, and it's Olympic golf, which really, it's a bunch of pros playing another tournament. It just happens to be the Olympic tournament.
Right.
You know, it's golf. I love golf, but Olympic golf, doesn't do much for me at all. Harris English is the leader at 8 under. Connors is at -3. Only 66 golfers invited to play in the World Golf Championship. It's an invitational. You had to have won. In tennis, no Federer, no Joker, no Milos, no Thiem, and perhaps others will withdraw, hopefully not, from the National Bank Open in Toronto next week. It used to be called the Rogers Cup, but we got sick and tired of calling it the Rogers Cup. So it's now the National Bank Open, which really rolls off the tongue. Daniil Medvedev heads the field, which will also hopefully include Rafa Nadal. Denis Shapovalov will be there. Stefanos Tsitsipas will be there. Felix Auger-Aliassime will be there. On the women's side, in Montreal, world number 2, Naomi Osaka has pulled out of that event, which runs concurrently. Number 4, Sophia Kenin of the U.S. has also withdrawn, as has number 8, Iga Świątek of Poland. Number 3, Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus is the top seed. That's a tough one to sell.
Hebsy,
come out to watch the National Bank Open with Sabalenka as your number 1 seed.
You're so much better at enunciation than I am. I'm just going to give you some props here. You're doing a great job.
Well, I learned with names like Goran Ivanisevic and the tongue twisters. There's some good ones there. Some of them just roll right off the tongue.
But Tsitsipas, is that right? Tsitsipas?
Stefanos Tsitsipas, yeah. You know what the toughest one was to say fast? Raul Ramirez. Because you really have to enunciate. Raul Ramirez. Raul Ramirez. Raul Ramirez. Raul Ramirez. It's hard.
You got to roll those R's.
You got to roll those R's. For those who were worried that Masai Ujiri would fly the coop for greener pastures and leave the Toronto Raptors, worry no more. I know, Mike, you were concerned.
I was concerned. I thought he might be leaving for New York or something.
No, he loves it here. He just wanted to get a fantastic deal. And he wanted, like, team president is okay on your business card, but wouldn't you like to be able to tell people that you're the vice chairman?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you sit in on important meetings and
he deserves it.
And decisions, that affect the Raptors and MLSE. You have some control over. I would if I was him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's sitting pretty. And he signed a new deal, which makes him the team's vice chairman and team president. MLSE chairman Larry Tannenbaum had this to say about Ujiri, quote, "Great sportsmen impact their games. Great leaders impact their communities. Masai does both, and we're very pleased he is returning to the Raptors."
Great news.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yep.
The man does his job and does it very, very well. Welcome back.
That was great news. That was the day after Lowry announced he was going to Miami. So you kind of deal with that and say goodbye, and then you get this fantastic news from the Raptors. I think this was the key free agent signing of the season.
Yeah. And in the meantime, you've got guys like Doug Smith, who wanted the Raptors to keep Lowry for like $50 million for 2 years so he could write another book or something like that. And these fuckers get scooped by Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN.
Watch bomb, yeah.
Again. But I mean,
I know.
I didn't mean to say these jerks are assholes. I mean, the guys work hard, but it's got to be incredibly frustrating to develop relationships with insiders, with people in the know, in the organization, and hope that as you're building those relationships, when the time comes, they might throw you a bone. But instead, the bone is thrown to the big national basketball reporter who outscoops everybody.
Right.
He finds things out before anybody. Like, I'm sure guys are sitting in the boardroom going, how the fuck did he find this out? We haven't released it yet. And now you know that developing excellent contacts is the key nowadays. If you know people and you can get in touch with somebody and make and move things along, you know, drop a few rumors here, drop a nice little, I got a nugget for you. I help you out. You help me out. Here's what I'm saying. That this Adrian Wojnarowski, this guy, he's got, I don't know what he's got. He's got compromising photos. He's got something on these guys because he is, I mean, everyone was like, how does this guy know? Like all the Raptors reporters.
Hebsy, man.
They had to retweet Wojnarowski's tweet.
Right.
With a quote saying, well, and there it is, that's what they all did. They're caught flat-footed. They're not expecting this at all. Right. They didn't get a heads up. They had an inkling maybe, but nothing was official.
Sure.
And then boom, the dude from ESPN, who's thousands of miles away from Toronto, can't even come here unless he's fully vaxxed. And he's got the story.
Hebsy, man. TMZ is notorious for paying, like they pay the orderlies or something in a hospital to let them know, hey, this celebrity just came in with a drug overdose, whatever's on life support, whatever.
Everybody has their price, Mike.
Do you think there's a possibility the Woj is pay to play?
That is look, anything's possible, but I would say to do a favor for a guy, a favor takes on a lot of things. If it's actual cash changing hands versus, I'll
email
get you
transfer
to this restaurant, or I know somebody in the diamond business. I mean, come on, Mike.
Because he's so
That's
good.
how people do business in pro sports and out of pro sports.
Oh, of course.
But I would think if you're developing contacts, that there's a certain trust and there's a certain pay to play kind of a thing. In other words, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
Like when you had to give the $50 bill to George Bell so you could...
that was Fergie Oliver.
Fergie Oliver, right.
Yeah, Fergie had a stack of American $50 bills.
Right.
Came out of petty cash or whatever it was. Right? This was part of their production budget.
Right.
Right. They weren't going to talk. Hey, George Brett. And George Brett was the best. Because he would take the $50 bills, and he would give them to the clubhouse attendants. Which was a classy thing to do. It's what you should do because you don't pay for anything in the clubhouse.
Right.
Those guys, they need tips. But anyway, that's the way it worked. But that's to get an interview. But down the road, who's to say that, George Brett didn't say, look, I need you to say something nice, or I need you to not to lay off, or to get this guy to do something. Who knows?
A quick update that in the 112th minute, Canada came very close to scoring. So it's still 1-1, 112 minutes.
Extra time. They're in extra time. Yep, very exciting. The Olympics is very exciting. I don't know what else to say.
Well, do you want to
except I
talk
think
about this?
what?
That comment earlier, I think we should get back to it. So there are people on your YouTube that say if Canada scores a goal here and does end up winning 2-1, that this is as significant as Crosby's golden goal. Do you agree with that?
Well, you would have to ask me in 10 years, because we've had 10 years to remember Crosby's goal. But I would say this. The people you're dealing with here aren't nearly as well known as the NHL players that were on both teams. The drama, the excitement of the actual game and the tournament, the fact that it was in Canada was so incredibly compelling that any comparison with Tokyo and no fans is impossible to make. And so just the drama alone, I mean, this game, the soccer match is more dramatic now that it's in an extra time. But early on, it was, it was a yawn, it was a snoozer.
If I may,
and the lead up to it, with the exception of beating the Americans in a shootout,
right?
It hasn't been super exciting, compelling soccer.
But
the hockey was.
For this country, though, the country of Canada, right? Again, there is the people on the West Coast, the BC people. This is awfully early start for them. Although now they're probably waking up at 7:23 for them. But so it's a bit tough of this time zone. But the eyeballs that will be on this match will not compare to the eyeballs that were on Canada versus USA.
If you're going to compare it with that, you're talking prime time.
But that is part of the equation as to which is more significant for a nation.
Absolutely. But here's the other thing. If Canada were to win gold,
right,
and that set off an incredible explosion of soccer in this country, and I don't mean participating, I'm talking about sponsors getting involved. I'm talking about leagues expanding now because more girls want to play, more scholarships are available, more opportunities, all that stuff. How about this? Just the opportunity to make money as you now can as an athlete, amateur or professional,
right?
Because of social media. So 10 years from now, if this game, this gold medal win was the launching point of an incredible boom in soccer, and we had women's professional soccer leagues 10 years from now, then I might say, well, you know what? That had a phenomenal effect. Can I compare it to 2010 Vancouver? No. Two total different things. So for this person to say, hey, you know what? If they do it, it could be amazing. It could be.
Well, it's amazing because it's Olympics, and this is our first ever championship international. Like, this is a big deal. I'm not trying. I watch all the Olympic events, but I'm very interested in this as well. I want Canada to win gold. I'm just saying, in 10 years, when we talk about this again on episode 1000 of Hebsy on Sports, whatever we're at, I don't think in the zeitgeist, the Canadian zeitgeist, that we will be talking about this game anywhere close to how we reference the Canada Cup. Right,
yeah, I don't know,
the 72 Summit Series and that golden goal by
we're expected to win
Crosby.
every hockey tournament we've ever been in, and we always will as Canadians. We were never expected to win an Olympic gold medal in soccer or women's soccer,
right?
Ever. And
we're
so
like fifth,
that
right?
in of itself,
sure,
to defeat the best in the world in a sport that is not your national sport is something.
It's significant. And I'm curious for your take on this, just to turn the channel a bit while I keep my eye on this match here. This is from, got to get the name right, John Marshall. So John Marshall is on your YouTube page, and he's suggesting that we're being intolerant of those who choose not to get vaccinated. And I'm curious for your take on that.
I believe that everyone should be vaccinated the same way everyone has to wear a seatbelt in a car. All kids have got to be vaccinated against measles and chickenpox. Still, you have to be, rubella, you must be vaccinated.
Mumps, a lot of things.
And for the same reason that you can't smoke in a public place. Right. It's against the law,
right,
but also it runs contrary to public health. And so for those reasons, and the fact that you shouldn't be selfish, you should think of others, get vaccinated. That's my response. Do I hate people? No, I don't hate them, but I just think you're being ignorant.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If your buddy is an anti-vaxxer and not refusing to get vaccinated, would you be comfortable inviting him or her into your home to dine with you?
No chance. And that's why I won't go to Jays games, because I believe there are probably some people there that aren't fully vaccinated.
That's for sure, but you're outdoors. Right? You're outdoors at a Jays game.
Well, yeah, but what if I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, but it's like going to a grocery store. You mask up and you're in and out fairly quickly. Like trust
me, going to the bathroom at the Dome isn't like going to a grocery store. Trust me.
Wear a diaper.
But anyway, okay. And with that, that's it for episode 244 of Hebsy on Sports. Maybe one of the wilder episodes we've ever done.
It was exciting, Hebsy. We got a bronze medal. Andre DeGrasse, every time he's in a final event, he medals. That's his sixth. Is that a sixth? That's his sixth Olympic medal.
He is the greatest Olympian in history for Canada.
Is that
the greatest?
So for the record,
6 for
Hebsy,
6.
do you think the 6 medals of DeGrasse trumps the medals that Penny Oleksiak has won?
6 for 6. If Penny were 7 for 7, I would say no. But Penny has been in some races where she didn't medal. Not too many, though, right?
A few.
Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. Maybe for episode 245.
Get watching that soccer, Hebsy.
All right, I'm watching. Thanks to Toronto Mike for production and inspiration. Hit him up at Toronto Mike. He's got a great podcast with some fabulous guests. Listen to his Michael Landsberg interview especially.
Yes, I conducted his exit interview as he leaves TSN after 37 years. Tuesday morning we did that.
Thanks to our sponsors, crosswindsgolf.com, great golf in Burlington, and manscaped.com. Get 20% off your Manscaped order and free shipping if you use the promo code HEBSY at checkout. Thanks for allowing us into your headspace. Back with another episode next week. Until then, so long for now. This podcast has been produced by TMDS and accelerated by Roam Phone. Roam Phone brings you the most reliable virtual phone service to run your business and protect your home number from unwanted calls. Visit roamphone.ca to get started.
I kind of like that was a different episode. It was a bit wild, off the wall. Game still 1-1. Go watch it. Peace and love to you, my friend. Go Canada, go.
Thank you, my friend. Have a fabulous weekend.
Oh, you too, buddy. See you soon, buddy.
Peace.